amigos, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy 3 on NES. So, when we last left off, we fought through a couple of bosses in Eureka. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video, as a lot of random encounters are cut out, because they're pretty much mostly the same enemies we've encountered so far. These rooms in particular have a somewhat higher random encounter rate, and are particularly fond of the Ninja and Oceanos enemies for some reason. That being said, Oceanos really isn't a particularly tough enemy. However, in this room, they start attacking in duos, and, I know, they're a bit of a higher attack, lower HP kind of enemy. Alright, so we get a Phoenix down there. Phoenix downs are very good for this part of the game. And we go to the left. Going to the left is actually kind of a mistake here, because it will pretty much prolong the amount of time you spend in this dungeon fighting enemies. When you get into this room, well, once we get back into the room out of this random encounter, well, once you step into this room, you'll want to turn right, and go to the right instead, because there's a boss to the right. That being said, I completely forgot the NES layout of this place, so... Ooh, invisible bridges. Square Enix is so clever. I really do love this place's music, though. I mean, in the DS version, it's... I mean, in all versions, it's just kind of an intense piece, but here's where we have to go next. I kind of touched on that a bit, and now we have to trek all the way back over to the right. So, kept in a fight against ninjas, because Oceanos and Ninja are the only enemies that appear in this video, so... But see, this is where Raph starts to be hitting Petrification a lot for his melee attacks, and you see he only did 4 damage there, but it killed that ninja. And it's gonna happen again, I think. Yeah, because really, with the Ultimate Rod, a Warlock job class can actually make these battles rather short. Since there's a chance that he can completely petrify an enemy, and there's also a chance that he could, petrify an enemy in tandem with using the golem staves and stuff, and that was a bit of a skip there. Normally I say, ooh, prepare for a jump cut, but you really can't be prepared in post-commentary. And I can't really surprise you all, either, with my video hiccups and such. Anyway, here we find the sword. A sword in a stone. And obviously with a sword in a stone, it's Cure 2. Yeah, we're going to have to use Cure 2 on the entire party. Alright, we should be good here. Alright, and we've got inventory space as well. This sword in the stone is the Holy Sword Excalibur. As if we weren't already thinking that. Now, one thing I noticed is that, well, first off, General is a pretty cool looking guy, except it also looks like somebody went and cut half of his shield off. But also, one thing I noticed, a lot of you probably realized, since we're about 30-something parts in, that there was this weird ticking sound in the background during these battles, and if I remember correctly, this isn't present in the actual NES game. That being said, during the boss music, it actually adds a second bit of percussion and stuff, and while it seems annoying, and I don't remember this from the original NES version of the game, but it's been a while since I've actually listened to the original NES music, so I could just be full of shit, but I mean... Anyway, General here, really, you don't need to use magic on him. He's pretty weak, as long as you keep on the melee offensive. I mean, not a lot of bosses are going to be weak to magic, until you start getting spells like Flare and Meteor and Holy, which deal incredible amounts of damage to enemies. Even then, we're gonna keep Raph as a Warlock anyway, because I kinda want to run the same team I beat this game with originally, so we'll have a Knight and a the rest of these guys and stuff. Mikey's gonna have a job class change by the end of this video anyway. So we get the Holy Sword Excalibur, which is a very good weapon. And that's putting it mildly. Excalibur is the second strongest weapon a knight can use, and if I remember correctly in this version, it's the second strongest weapon in the game. See, we have 378 attack power here. That is incredible. We will usually be dealing around 1,000 damage to these enemies at least, and if we were to go back to past enemies and fight them, we would be dealing so much damage it's ridiculous. Not to mention the fact that Raph is also a warlock and stuff, so I don't know, I may as a bonus in the next video, since we finally get some actual good commentary in the next video and stuff. I may go back to like the magic no, I can't go back to the magic circle, but at least I can go back to the Toza's tunnel. And you know what I'm gonna do there? I'm going to get my revenge on all those enemies that picked on us when we were little. Because now we'll be, well, little, but we'll have Flare and Meteo and copious amounts of fuck your shit, I don't even know. The random encounter rate in these last couple rooms also is a bit higher than it is in the rest of the dungeon, if I remember correctly. It's still not as staggering as the random encounter rate in Mega Man Star Force 2. And by the way, don't suggest Mega Man Star Force as a game or LP, because my computer probably doesn't have enough RAM to record that in very good quality, and I don't want to go back to Hypercam. I kinda like the quality that Procaster gives and stuff, I mean... In all honesty, maybe Procaster isn't the greatest thing, but I couldn't get Camtasia working, and Camtasia Studio eventually ate itself anyway. I'm the Ultimate Sword, Ragnarok. It's still too early for you to use me. This is Guardian. Guardian here is actually a fairly tough boss. He can cast Quake and also has a fairly powerful, melee attack. Guardian, once again, you'll kind of want to stick to, non-elemental spells and, your best melee techniques. That being said, Guardian does give you the incredibly powerful Ragnarok, but look at how much damage Quake did to our entire party. Upwards of 1,500 damage or something, and that's just from one use. I mean, it's incredible. The bosses can use Quake pretty much as well as you can. But then again, we're dealing massive amounts of damage with melee attacks as well. I mean, we don't even get to revenge kill him with Quake. It's pretty much easy. Just that this boss will also deal a lot of damage. I'll lend my help to your light. Alright, so we get the sword Ragnarok. Ragnarok is the strongest sword weapon in the game, if I remember correctly. It has massive amount of power. And it also increases all of your stats as well. Like, we have 402 attack power now with Leo. And if we factor in, the fact that, yeah, what was I talking about? The fact that the ninja job class can use any weapon in the game, we already have a backup plan as well, with that, full moon and such. Full moon and Murama, or... can't remember what sword, Mikey's equipping now. Was it Murasame? It was either Murasame, Masamune, and or, Maramasa, but I mean... no, it was Murasame, I think. I can't even tell. I don't even know anymore. And I'm not gonna add like an annotation or something if I'm wrong. I'm just gonna go with it, man. Go with the flow. It's probably like Masamune. Yeah, it's Masamune, I think. I don't even know anymore. Why am I trying to speak Japanese? I can't do a thing like that. This is the Scylla. Scylla is based on actual mythology. In mythology, Scylla has the heads of 6 different beasts, and if I remember correctly, there are various beasts such as wolves. What was I talking about? Wolves and like a wolf, a bear, think one of the heads is a snake. One of the heads is a hornet, apparently. That being said, that single white question mark in our inventory is the weapon that Scylla gives us after we beat her. And Scylla really doesn't pack too much power. Unfortunately, she's the only boss in this dungeon that has actually killed a party member. And even then, that's with Flair. Being the eldest and gained the jobs of Ninja and Sage. Oh, once again, I'm not going to be using Sage in this game, but I am going to be putting Ninja to use. Let's see. I'll cover Ninja once we actually switch to it. But anyway, in this room is a good room to reach because Revivification Spring. So you can restore your party members back to life, and there's also a spring here to restore your party members back to full health and MP. There's also shops here, and you can find elixirs and shuriken. Alright, and if you didn't beat the summon bosses, you can buy the Odin, Leviathan, and Bahamut spells, and you can also buy all the level 8 magic. Flare, Death, Meteo, Whirlwind, Life 2, and Holy. Three things. Flare, Meteo, and Holy are, offensive-based spells. They are spells that are made to deal large amounts of damage. If I remember correctly, Holy and Flare are both single-targeting spells, and you can only target multiple enemies with Meteo, similar to using Quake. Life 2 will instantly revive a party member back to full health. Forgot what the other spell there was. There was also Whirlwind, which reduces HP to a single digit. That being said, why, Alright, anyway. Equipping the Eldest Staff will also oh yeah, it was, Death. And Death pretty much has the ability of killing an enemy instantly. Death isn't really as good of a spell as it sounds, and we accidentally bought 2 Flare spells for some reason. While it seems like it would be incredibly convenient to be able to kill every enemy in the game in one shot, unfortunately Death doesn't really affect as many, enemies as I'd like for it to. And therefore, once again, sounds like a great deal. Unfortunately, it really isn't. That being said, we're still going to buy it anyway to complete the, spell library. You don't get a reward for having all the spells, by the way, you just have every spell in the game. Anyway, Meteo and Flare are both incredible for causing damage. Flare is especially good against bosses as long as they don't cast a wall, so that they can reflect your attacks. And Meteo has the added benefit of being able to bypass wall. It is pretty much the most powerful offensive magic in the game, deals a ton of damage, targets all on-screen enemies, and just screws everything. Like, if the opponent's trying to reflect your spells, it will bypass that. Anyway, this last person right here sells Shuriken and Crystal Equipment. Crystal Equipment can be equipped to Mystic Knight, and it can also be equipped to other jump classes you may be running, such as Dragoon or Viking. And with that being said, we have no room to remove anything anymore, which is a real shame because... So I have to switch jump classes right here. We also can't use Exit. The unfortunate thing is that, you can't use Exit to escape from this area. So we're pretty much stuck here until we go all the way back through. I do get rid of a lot of excess stuff, mind you, and eventually switch job classes, but I won't tell you what until we get around to recording the next part. So until then, this is Toast for August signing out. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned.